What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and in today's video we are going to be doing that magical thing again. It's that time of the week. We're going to be sitting down and reading your comments here on the channel and responding to them. In this video, we are going to be talking a lot about the EX Volume 2 banner, because it seems like there are a lot of people out there with a lot of differing opinions. Who'd have thunk it, right? But in today's video, as always, we are going to be highlighting a handful of questions and talking about them here on the channel. But before we go ahead and get into all of that and more, make sure if you guys haven't already done so, you smash that like button and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into the comment section. Cue that intro. Muhammad Fadlan Saitpu Fadlan. I am so sorry if I screwed that up. Hi TBR, why don't you gacha KoEX and can you explain? Yeah, I can for the 100th time. I've explained this a few times over the course of the past month already. Basically, there's a lot of things to consider with this. It's not just a one answer question. Basically, the first thing is you have to consider the fact that we were hot off the heels of the Street Fighter V collaboration, and I went pretty hard on that, so I didn't really have as much rubies as I would like to have for any banner, much less an EX banner, where the rates are the rates. So that is one thing there, so I really didn't have any reason to go in with the amount of rubies I had, because honestly, I wouldn't have been able to do much. Beyond that, I really do like a lot of characters in the King of Fighters 15, both new and old. So it's one of those situations, if you guys want to know which characters I'm looking forward to, by the way, I did do a video breaking down the entire King of Fighters 15 roster as far as which characters I want to see as EX. So you guys can check that out, link will be in the description. But to be quite frank, there's a lot of other characters that I just prefer. I think a lot of people are still going to have to adjust and get used to the idea that we're no longer without whaling, which I'm not going to be doing, without whaling and just outright buying these characters or buying multis for these banners. You're not going to be able to just pull for each and every single character at this point anymore, like you would have been able to do before, possibly, because we had generic memories and so on. Right now, we still lack generic EX memories, so it's one of those situations where, for me, I'd rather just wait. In fact, I might even skip the next banner. I might go for some Leona memories, maybe. I don't know yet. I'm still holding out and waiting to see what the kits look like, as always. But at the same time, I'm going to be pretty prudent with the way I spend at this point. So, yeah. That and I just didn't want to. KF asks, do you have any idea on the release date of the King of Fighters Awakened CGI movie? That's a great question, KF. No one really does, unfortunately. They did announce that they were working on that, and they did release that like little mini teaser thing that they did with Kyo and Gainitz. But unfortunately, ever since then, we have not gotten any word on that. So it could still be happening. We haven't heard really, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong, so somebody can let me know in the comments section. However, to my knowledge, we have not heard any information since then about this project. I would imagine with COVID and all that other stuff, it probably delayed things. So maybe next year, but we really don't know. But on this note, considering the fact that this kind of, sort of, in a way, brings up KOF Destiny, the anime, I have been considering doing reactions and live watches for that series. So if that's something you guys are interested in, let me know in the comments section. Suicidal Pony 55 says, first of all, Pony, are you okay? I know I've asked you this before, but really. Suicidal Pony 55 asks, yes, please don't let TBR see this, but I actually skipped Street Fighter in hopes of A5ing Leona. Too late. I already saw it. And good on you. If you don't like something, don't pull on it. You know, I'm not one of those people. I mean, come on, guys. I'm 33 years old. I don't really care if you decided you didn't want to pull on something that I like, right? So it doesn't matter to me at all whatsoever. So yeah, good on you. You're prepared for whatever's next. If there's something coming out that you're really excited about, go for it. That's what I've always told you guys, literally since I started this channel. If there is something that you are a fan of, or there's something that you like, always pull for your favorites. And who am I to judge? I'm just the guy talking into a microphone on the other side of the planet for most of you, so who cares? Bananamon? Are you a Digimon? Interesting name. I'm gonna wait for the specs and the first tests before spending 1 ruby on this banner. I got my book this weekend. It is freaking huge. You can feel Bitmap Books put a lot of love in the conception of it. And then we got a lot of really cute little smiley heart faces. Yeah, so I wanted to go ahead and highlight this one real quick because I wanted to let you guys know, yes, I will be reviewing the Bitmap Books KOF Ultimate History book. That will be coming hopefully tomorrow. I'm hoping to have time today to do some extra shooting for that. There's a lot that goes into what I want to do with that video, so I'm going to be working on that probably a lot today. So that should come you guys' way. If not tomorrow, then I might save it for Monday, just so that way on Monday I can just get it out and have the weekend, especially with the 3-day weekend, to be able to edit. Idris Aman asks, Justin Bieber, is that you? I'll never tell. Kang Frast says, I don't know why people are okay with them being even lazier and greedier than ever with EX banners. An older character and a single new character being the only thing on rate up is pathetic. I take the opposite to this opinion, and I'll tell you why. So one thing that you really need to consider with this is a lot of new people had not even had the chance at some of these characters, so that's one thing, right? So getting a chance to get these characters again, big deal for those people. A lot of people, whenever they went in on these characters, in fact, I would argue and wager the vast majority of people that went in on these characters originally did not A5 them. So a lot of those people still want memories for these characters. Now, of course, you could make the case for the fact that we have generic memories and so on and so forth, but at the same time, that is still something that you need to consider there, especially since those generic memories are definitely not as plentiful as people would like to make you think. It's very few and far between sometimes for a lot of people. So that's something we've talked about quite a bit. Another thing is, and I think that this is very important to consider, is whenever they rerun these characters, it's indicative of the fact that they're going to not only be buffing them, but giving them an EX. So you got to consider the fact that a lot of people have already invested in these characters and already built some of these characters. And whenever we get these reruns with these buffs and with this EX system added to them, it's almost like it's almost like an insurance policy on your investment, right? So if you consider the fact that a lot of people do spend money on this game, which, you know, don't hate on people who spend money on the game, they're the ones helping keep it alive. If you enjoy it even a little bit, we should all be thanking those people. But at the end of the day, when it comes to that factor, being able to be kind of a little less worried about the fact that your investment might get completely and utterly torpedoed within 6 months to a year, or whatever the case may be, if that, you know, that's really nice. So I actually kind of enjoy it. Now, the one thing I will say about this is that I would probably prefer that they just rerun their original banner and just buff them. That would be nice. I would prefer maybe if they would give us some sort of rate up system with these new banners for those of us who have already built these characters. But even then, most of us are still going to need the memories for them regardless, because we're going to probably want to EX them, say for instance, if we already have them at A5 or whatever the case may be. So we are going to need at least at minimum 3 memories whenever these characters drop, unless you have a bunch of selectors laying around from, you know, past, you know, things of packages and so on. But at the same time, I don't feel like this is necessarily that big of a deal. I really don't. In fact, I would say that not having 2 characters to build at the same time from scratch is probably better for a lot of us veterans that already have these characters, so we don't have to worry about it as much. You know, but at the end of the day, it's always different for everybody. There's people that complained that we were constantly getting new characters churned out left and right, and then there's people that are going to complain that we're not getting as many new characters churned out left and right. So, you know, everybody has a different opinion. The world still turns. It is what it is. But yeah, there are perks to it. I don't think it's all bad. I don't think that it's pathetic. I think it just comes down to the fact that some people prefer certain things and some people don't. And everybody's going to be in a different position depending on how long they've been playing the game and how much they've invested on these past banners. But at the end of the day, we're not the only ones playing this game. So we have to consider everybody, right? They know this banner is not making that much money, so they are putting a fan fave there from I'm Ibrahim. Shout out to you, I'm Ibrahim. I see you in the chat all the time. In regards to this comment, I would say that don't underestimate the amount of people that are fans of Angel. I've already seen a lot of people that were really happy. like, this is something that I think we all need to understand. Everybody's going to have a different favorite character, right? Not everybody's going to have the same opinions. Everybody's going to have 5 or 6 characters they absolutely love, and those are usually going to differ from one person to the next. You know, so for me personally, like, when I get a character that I love, I'm extremely happy, but at the same time, I can concede that there are people out there that might be disappointed. I don't get disappointed if there's a character that I don't want, because that means I can just save, right? So I think that that's something that a lot of people need to get comfortable with, especially with EX banners now. Just be happy if it's a banner that you're not particularly interested in, that you can just play the game and save. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to pull your hair out over the gacha rates, right? So I'm not necessarily that worried about it. I think it's a good thing if they, especially when they add these characters that have never had a FES in the game before. That's a big deal to me. I think that's something they've needed to do more of for a very, very long time. I mean, you can keep releasing new EX, BS, SS versions of the same character over and over and over again, and that's when I get annoyed, right? That's when I'm like, really? There's all these other characters you could be releasing and doing that have never had representation in the game. But I kind of get it, especially considering how long we had this last banner, but at the same time, I don't think that that's necessarily that big of a deal, and I think at the end of the day, you just save more. So, at least that's my take on it. I could be wrong. Shartu Darby says, good luck taking the art out of the invitation, TBR. You'll need it. I'm assuming you got this as well. Yeah, it actually is something I'm going to bring up when I talk about it in the review, but I was actually able to get it open. I used a knife, so yeah.
Don't try this at home.
But yeah, definitely know what you're saying. We'll talk more about it when I do the review of the book. Stay tuned. Elon Hunter says, what happened to EX Iori? Why do they create polls if they don't drop the characters that won the most votes? I have nothing against Angel, but this is not what the community asked for. I wanted Iori up next. He's never had a chance to be meta. This is frustrating. Actually, Elon, you might be mistaken on the community poll that they did over at Netmarble. This survey that they did was actually to see which characters people wanted to see buffed first, right? So considering that, we are getting Leona up next, who pretty much ran away with all the BS polls during that survey. And then we also, of course, got Iori previously, who definitely made out pretty well with that buff. So that wasn't necessarily designed to be for what characters we wanted to see get an EX, right? That was to see which characters we wanted to see buffed. So I would argue they're actually doing a fairly decent job with that. Now, one could argue that we should have already gotten SS Kyo buffed, but I would say that he's probably going to be next. It would make sense, right? Considering how he finished first, I think, in most all of those polls for the SS fighters. So, yeah. When it comes to Iori getting an EX, it's a matter of time. Just not right now. Aper says, waifu for many, skip for others. Yeah, basically. And that's going to be the way a lot of these banners are going forward, you know, especially now considering the fact that we only get one new character per banner, it seems, plus a rerun. It's going to be a lot less people getting excited. If you really think about it, it would make sense, because you're now going to have half of the amount of people that are going to be interested in a banner with the EX system, because there's only one new character, as you would have had previously with the SS and the BS banners having 2 new characters. For me personally, not having 2 new characters at a time takes a little bit of the edge off. I've already talked about this a little bit in a previous comment. So for me personally, that isn't necessarily that big of a deal, especially considering the fact that we do need to save a lot right now with this new EX system. So in general, that's going to be the way it's going to be going forward, a lot more for a lot more people, because again, you only have half of the new characters that you originally had with these other banners. But again, I say unto all of you, save my child, save as much as humanly possible, and take every opportunity you can to do so. Because they will release a character that you do want, and when that time comes, you do not want to get caught with your pants down. Signature Sigma Sign says, I wish they'd just stop being so greedy and give us tokens instead of tickets. That doesn't help with pity. So yeah, I agree with you. I would, and I've said this a million times, I would fully endorse getting tokens instead of tickets. You know, at least we would have at that point the chance for them to count towards the pity. I've pointed this out several times. But unfortunately, it's not like they listen to anything I say, right? So I'm just talking into nothing. I'm just speaking into the abyss. and hoping that Netmarble notices me.
Notice me, senpai.
Anyway, you guys, that's going to do it for me and this weekly subscriber Q&A. Thank you all again for leaving your comments. It does seem as though there is a bit of a mixed reaction to Angel being the newest character to be added into the EX system. So, you know, at the end of the day, hopefully all of you guys out there that are fans are able to pull her. Hopefully those of you out there who are not fans are going to be saving even more. And at the end of the day, we do get another banner down the road that we all end up liking. But it's going to be one of those things, like I said, especially considering the fact that they are only releasing one new character per banner at this point. You're only going to have so many people be excited for this new character that we get from 1 month to the next. So at the end of the day, save, 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 and just try to pick and choose your battles because, yeah, those rates, they're something. But anyway, you guys, that's going to do it for me. Like, share, and subscribe on your way out, and I will see you all in the next one. Y'all take care. Peace.
Continue.